started thinking about how much more invisible I'd gotten since Mel had moved away. Once in a while, it was sort of nice to be able to blend into the background, but most of the time, it was just kind of lonely. I was so lost in my own thoughts that I didn't smell the smoke at all. And with the closet door closed and my headphones on, I didn't even hear the sirens. My father forgot about me being a closet monster, so the very last place that the firefighters looked was the place where I actually was. I guess they had to go through the whole house twice. It was getting pretty smoky by the time a fireman yanked open the door, started yelling at me, threw me over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and hauled me down the stairs and out the front door. I sat coughing on the front lawn, with most of our neighbors staring at me. My invisibility shield was definitely off at that moment. "Where's my dad?" I asked the fireman who deposited me on the grass. The man just glared at me and turned around and headed back toward our house. A few seconds later, a different fireman came out with his arm around my dad, supporting him. Dad's face was really red, and he was coughing even harder than I was. I ran all the way up to him before realizing that I couldn't remember the last time we'd hugged. My dad just wasn't a hugging sort of guy. But right then he picked me up and squeezed me really tight. And then a few seconds later he put me back down and started yelling at me.
"You almost gave me a heart attack. Where on earth were you hiding, Cecilia? Why didn't you come down when you heard the sirens?"
I stood there in shock. Between the stress of being hauled out of my nice, quiet hiding spot and thrown down onto the damp grass, and now being yelled at, I had to blink hard to keep from crying. "I'm sorry," I said, putting my hands up as a sort of surrender. All I really wanted at that moment was for him not to be mad at me. Dad's face softened.
"I'm sorry, Cecilia. You just scared me to death. When I couldn't find you."
His voice trailed off, and then he enfolded me in another hug. We stood watching the firefighters shoot great streams of water into our house for a while until one of them came over to talk to Dad. They walked a little away from me, far enough so that I couldn't hear what they were saying. When Dad finally walked back, he told me we were going to have to go to my Aunt Pamela's house at least for the night. Staying at Aunt Pamela's? I'm not trying to be overdramatic here or anything, but it might have been better to just leave me in the closet. 2. I fall for every dog I meet, but this time it's different. "Cecilia!" As soon as I opened the back door at Orphan Paws, I heard Lori yelling my name. Lori's the best. She runs the shelter on her own, and she inspires a lot of people to volunteer. But I suspect I just might be her favorite. I knew I'd probably get extra points from Lori for showing up the morning after my house almost burned down. But the truth was, I'd been glad for the chance to escape before Aunt Pamela decided that she'd like to organize my Saturday for me. Lori ambushed me in a hug right away. "Oh my goodness, everyone heard the sirens last night, and I just couldn't believe it when I found out it was your house. Are you okay?" She pulled away and gave me a once-over. "Is your father all right? How bad's the damage?" "We're both fine. I don't know about the last part. We're staying at my Aunt Pamela's." I frowned, thinking about how much I dreaded going back there in a few hours. Dad said the fireman told him we're not allowed to go back in yet. "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But I am glad you're here. We've got a new little one who needs some TLC." I heard a tiny whimper and turned around. Mitch, the vet tech from Dr. Mercer's office, who came by to help out sometimes, was standing by the exam table. The whimper must have come from the brown blob that was sitting there, wrapped in a ratty pink blanket. I took a step closer. There was a dog in there somewhere under the dirt. He was an adorable pug.